Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. My name's Ian. I'll be speaking tonight. I'm new to all this, so bear with me. But I wanted to read something that brought me to Christ 5 years ago. When the first time I was like basically a naysayer, thought that I could never be forgiven for the things I've done in life, and um, I came across this passage in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 1:26 to 29. Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. Um, Reading that passage, I can think back where, like, when Jesus was walking around, um, healing people, raising them from the dead, and all that. He didn't go to the people that were influential. I'm not going to say that word again. Um, he went to the sick and to the weak and to the poor, and he gave himself to them and healed them and rose them up, out of their despair. So like that's where it happened for me. Like I was in despair. I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I was doing. I thought I'd have no way out of this life that I was in. But when I finally just surrendered, I guess you could say, like you say in recovery, and gave myself to God, everything started to change. So tonight I'm going to be reading the, like I said, childhood of Jesus. Can you put up the first verse? This is Matthew 2:13 and 15. Whoa, what's that sound? The bass. Is that the bass? Oh, there you go. Look at you. Mike, the soundboard guy. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said. Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled that the Lord had said through the prophet, out of Egypt I called my son. I've been doing a lot of studying about this, and for Joseph, when the angels appeared to him, telling him to leave, take the baby and leave, like this is just after the Magi were there, like the three wise men were there blessing Jesus with gifts when he was born. And the Magi was sent by King Herod to look for Jesus so Herod could kill him, the baby, so he would not be the king. Because King Herod at that time was quite the bad man. He always, I guess, was, what do you say, fearful of being overrun as a king. So when he heard that there was a king being born in Bethlehem, he sent the Magi out there, and that's the three wise men, to gather news for him, and then he could, proceed with killing the newborn king. Um, Announced to King Herod, the Magi went there and saw Jesus being born and didn't report back to King Herod, so he was furious. So he sent his men out to kill all infants that were 2 years and under, just in case, um, like, he didn't know exactly when Jesus was born, so he wanted to make sure that he had the death of Jesus. Um, Back then, in those times, like especially in Bethlehem, there's, I guess, from what I've learned, the population might have been only like 200 people. So they have estimates of the fact that it might be anywhere between 5 to 20 children that were killed, um, for King Herod's men searching for Jesus. But Jesus was gone at this time because Mary and Joseph left with him to Egypt. Um, what else? King Herod also, at times, like he was known to kill a lot of people. Anybody that came against him, he wanted to keep his rule. He even at one time killed his own wife and kids. I didn't really get to see exactly why, but he was known to have done that. So, like, he would go to any lengths to keep his kingship, I guess you could say. Um, where are we? And then when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill the boys of Bethlehem and the vicinity who were 2 years old and under. In accordance with that time, he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more. So back at this time when they escaped from Egypt, Herod was like furious in the fact that Magi didn't come back. I guess I already said that. But then there's from Jeremiah 31:15 is basically the same. Is that verse there? A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and graping. This is kind of a, what they said was almost like a parable, because Rachel was a woman that couldn't have children, and then she had two children, and then both her sons were kings at one time, or they ruled two different lands, and both her sons were conquered, both their lands were conquered, and they were both killed. So not parable, I guess, symbolism, the fact of Rachel weeping because the people would be weeping for Jesus' death. Can we go to the next verse? After King Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in the dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel. For those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up and took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judah in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and he went and lived in the town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, that he would be called a Nazarene. Nazareth at the time was just a small village. It wasn't really known for anything. There was no kings there or anything like that. It was only known through all the prophets talking about Nazarene and talking about the newborn king being of Nazareth. What else have we got here? The angels coming down to Joseph. This is the second time he's seen the angels come down and tell him to do these things. And these things were all prophesied in other parts of the Bible. So Joseph, just knowing that he had to get out of Egypt and go to Israel, but Archelaus was still reigning in Judah in the place of his father. So Joseph didn't know if, the order to go down to kill Jesus would have still been for his son. Can we go to the next slide? And the child grew and became strong. He was fulfilled with wisdom, and the grace of God was on him. So at this time, Jesus is like 12 years old. I've learned around, bar mitzvah age, they say, for the Jewish religion. So, he's growing into a man. There isn't a lot said about him in the Bible from birth until this time, except for the fact that they took him out of Bethlehem and then took him out of Egypt. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. But they were unaware of it, thinking he was in their company. They traveled on for a day. I'll stop there for a second. When they all, this is a rite of passage to Passover, all these outer-lying towns, all the people would go up and for Passover. So they had little convoys of people. So, there could be 100 to 200 or, 50 people. But so Jesus kind of got lost in the crowd, and they didn't know he was gone or missing, because he could have been with, relatives or something like this. So can we go to the next slide? Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." Uh, I don't like for me reading these passages and studying about it, like to see the fact that Jesus is 12 years old and he's kind of drawn to these uh, priests and elders, and he already has such wisdom about the Lord and wisdom about God that these. Oh, was that someone else? I thought it was me. So it's it's for me it's kind of astonishing to see like to or to read about to this boy that grew up doesn't know like what's inside him. Like I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure Mary and Joseph didn't tell him that there was people out trying to kill you, and you're the newborn king of the world, you're God's chosen one, that kind of thing. So he's finding the calling of God by going to the religious leaders and to the elders and talking to them and giving them more spiritual wisdom. For for me to read that, it just seems kind of amazing. Like for me, even getting into the Bible and trying to understand so much of it, it's like kind of hard at times. Like because of the fact, like when I go to continue further into another book, how there's different um, it's writ differently, like by different people. So, what else we got here? They were searching for me. They went down to Nazareth with him, and he was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all of these things with her heart, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature in the favor of God and man. Uh, like they say, I don't know did they say it in this one, but they say in other passages that for 3 days they're searching for him. Like, so they're probably looking for him, at the market or somewhere that a boy that's 12 years old would be, lost in. Like, maybe lost off looking at a waterfall or a mountain or whatever it may be. Like, the last place they thought to look would be with the elders and the priests. So when they found him, it was, kind of astonishing to them. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, no, but there's another. Oh, whoa, did I read it all? No, because there's Luke 20 to 42. Oh, 2 to 19. Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess I went through it all too fast. I tried to do this without notes this time, because last time notes got me a little confused. Now I'm confused without the notes, so bear with me. I guess I could go into my understanding of this. There's not a lot written about Jesus at these times of year. I mean, this time of his life. I picked it because it was smaller, but then when I got into it, there's so many different versions. Like I watched a lot of sermons on it, and so many different people talking, like because they have so much wisdom that they can talk into all these different things. Uh, for me, reading this and just getting closer to God is a big help for me. Like even the other night, okay, I guess I think it's Thursday night. I got a phone call from some people that I used to be friends with, and they not try to drag me back into my old life, but they try to involve me back into my old life. Because of what I used to do and the people that it doesn't really matter. But I was tempted to go and take care of what was going wrong because that's the type of person I am. I'm kind of involved in a lot of giving and a lot of helping people out. So even in my addiction and when I was drinking too much, I used to do that at the same time. But I guess it's kind of a God shot. Like I was going to make one more phone call to go deal with the situation, and then all of a sudden my phone dinged for I guess a pop-up or whatever it was, and it was Biblegate, and it gave me a passage, and I read it, and it just kind of calmed me down and brought me to a point realizing that in the last 5 years since I've came to Christ, my life has changed. I have changed. I do things for all the right reasons. Every day my life keeps getting better, not necessarily financially or all the out exterior stuff, but for stuff inside me. So God, for me, is a big part of my life. I can't think that I can, or I wouldn't think that I'd ever be standing here in front of you talking about this. Um, I pictured doing this a lot differently, but I read it through so fast. I had so many different things in my head, but it all kind of went out when I stood up here again. But I like to pray for, like, the guys at the house are all locked up right now because of a COVID scare in a different house. I was not, I phoned David this morning and I told him, well, I was at the house earlier in the week, maybe I shouldn't come. And he told me just to be far away from people, but then I took a rapid test today and I'm negative, so it's all good. But I like to pray for them and pray for everyone else, so maybe I can just calm down and talk a little bit more since I haven't been talking for very long. Okay. God, I'd like you to watch over the boys at Hilland, watch over the girls at Glory House, and watch over everybody in the congregation. Please comfort them, support them, give them the answers when they need it, give them joy, give them peace, and please just give them the answers that they look for in their thoughts and in their hearts. I know that that's what you did for me, and I hope that you can do it for everybody here and everybody that is watching. And please, Lord, I'd like to pray for a peace in the world and an understanding so this crazy situation that's been going on for years can be resolved, and we can all move forward and worship you as you are made to worship. In Jesus' precious name, amen. What time is it? See, I'm way too fast. I don't even know what happened. Sorry, people. Um, I guess I could say a little bit about myself, but I did it before. My name's Ian. I work at Hope for Freedom. I've been working there for 2.5 years. I've been part of Hope for Freedom for 5 years. I work at the local food bank 5 days a week as well. I have a little company on the side. I've been part of this church for 5 years. I still have people in my life from the first day that I came to recovery 5 years ago, like Mike here and Bobby. Like we spent so many nights sitting in the Hilland house um, talking about God, and this is like three guys that basically came from jail and came from the streets. And then there's like five of us in the room to a point where we're all talking about God and talking about recovery and talking about, getting better things in life. And today we can be proud, I guess you could say, to the fact that we're actually coming into our own, coming into what God wanted us to be. Because like God, in my eyes, wants everybody to succeed. God sure puts trials and tribulations in your life, but he also gives you the strength and determination to get through it. I know personally from my experience, all the hardship and heartache and trouble that I sustained in life, besides the stuff that happened to me in childhood, I could say brought on myself because I made the wrong decisions at the wrong time, didn't take things seriously, and thought that I was a different person. Like today, I can actually be proud and stand straight up and look people in the eye. Like for years, I'd always not necessarily be looking down, but looking down in a sense because I didn't think that I was good enough for people. My childhood wasn't the greatest. I forgave the people that did things to me back then. So I don't like to talk about that anymore. But you know, it's God is great. Like, and I have friends out there still that kind of laugh at me. And even for me, 5.5 years ago, I'd be like, how can Jesus forgive what I did? Because I can't forgive myself. But today I can honestly say that Jesus died on the cross for me and for you and for everyone here, you know, to forgive our sins and to give us that chance of being who we're made to be. Because every day in this world, I feel that God has laid out the day for us. Now, we choose to make the right turn or the left turn or this decision or that decision, but He is always there walking with us. Um, I read my, what is it, Jesus Calling every morning, and it keeps reminding me that God's there for me. Because it doesn't matter what's going on in my life, it seems to pertain to what's going on. I used to always believe in coincidence in my life, but I don't believe in coincidence anymore. I believe that God has brought things to me and puts things in front of me to test me. You know, what else can I say? I thank you all for listening to me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go about this a different way next time. One other thing is one other thing is, and I didn't decipher between this, this is, obviously you might have seen it up there, but there was Matthew 2:13 to 23, and then Luke 2:40 to 52. And it's two different books in the Bible of the New Testament that were both talking about the same subject of Jesus' childhood. And, you know, this is stuff that's written, obviously, years and years after Jesus was a child, because these are the disciples of Jesus, both these people. Um, I don't, I don't know if like Jesus would sit there and talk and sitting around with his disciples and tell him about what happened when he was a child or stuff like this. Like we might, right? Like if you're sitting there talking with your friends, you're like, oh, when I was 12 years old, this happened to me, or when I was a baby, this king wanted to kill me. You know, I'm pretty sure that that didn't happen, but so it's just interesting to read the different ways that these writers wrote what was happening. So I thank you all. I hope for the best for everyone, and I hope everybody have a good night. Thank you.